Carrie's got some great information for us. It's going to help you act quickly, and acting quickly is going to be really important. It's going to be act quickly and then wait, but that's what we're going to need to do, is act quickly and then wait. While we're giving everybody a chance to finish their log on, I'm going to kick off with a very brief little story. And Carrie, when I'm done with the story, I give it to you, okay?
Okay.
So up here, we've got two animals that live on the plains. We've got the great American buffalo, and we have the cow. The great American buffalo grew up on the American plains. It's their home. The cow it came over from Africa and from Europe, and the cow's been in constant migration. It's forgotten its home. Now, what's interesting about these two animals is that when they herd up on the great American plains, and they do that, right? When a storm is coming on these giant ranches, the farmers know that if they've got cows, they better go get them and better buckle them down some way in a hurry, because cows panic in the storm and they run from the storm. When they got buffalo, they don't worry about the buffalo too much, because the buffalo, when it sees a storm as a herd, it runs straight into it. Now, if you guys are curious, why does that matter? It matters because of this. The buffalo knows that if it runs into the storm, it's going to shorten the amount of time it's in the dangerous scenario, and they get through it faster. And therefore, it's rare that they lose any of the herd. If the farmer or the rancher doesn't get out there and put the cows down and buckle them down, they know those cows will run themselves into a heart attack because they'll stay with the storm and they'll panic. This is very much like what we're in right now. It's a storm, right? And it's a storm with waves. It's coming and it's going. So part of what we have to do as leaders, and you guys are leaders, you got to take this mentality and say, I am the buffalo. I am the rancher. I'm going to face every single day with bravery, knowing that I'm going into a little bit of a storm. And I'm going to know that my people are probably a little bit panicked and they're probably a little bit scared. And I better be like a good shepherd and corral them and keep them moving in the right direction. Because if you don't, they can come out of this worse for wear. So that's my little word of encouragement for you today. I want you to keep that in mind, keep it close to your heart. And I'm going to turn it over to Carrie now. Carrie.
Hey, Todd, I do not have a screen share button.
Let me make sure that you can. Hang on just one moment.
Hang on a second. That may be me. Just a second. I'm minimizing my window. No, I've got it.
Okay, great. All right.
So guys, let's talk about this coronavirus emergency loan program from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. I've got a handout, and actually I want to say thanks to Mike Forker. He's one of my clients, and Mike and I talk a lot about what's going on and share documents back and forth. And he came across this on Sunday and sent it over to me. But this is called the Paycheck Protection Program. So the name of it is actually very important. I guess if they could have come up with a better name, they might have called it the Back to Work program. But basically, the program works if you have your people come back on the payroll and put them back to work. The loans can be forgiven as long as you maintain your payroll during the crisis, or restore your payroll if you've already laid people off. Once you get approved, bring them back on and pay them, and then your loan will be forgiven. So some questions you may be asking. Number one, are you eligible? I've highlighted 3 categories here. I feel like every one of you is going to fall into probably this first category, small business with less than 500 employees. But even the sole proprietor or an independent contractor still qualifies, still is eligible for the program. Just a few quick things that they're looking for. Number one, they're going to ask you, the banks that have been approved for this, and we'll talk about the banks at the end, they're going to ask you for a good faith certification that you are asking for this loan to support the ongoing operations of your business, not to buy that new travel trailer or that giant bus you always been wishing you could have. This is to pay your utilities, to pay your people, to pay your lease payment. Second, you're going to use the loan to retain your workers and make payroll or make your mortgage, lease, or utility payments. Now, the borrower does not have an application pending for a loan that duplicates this purpose or the amounts. In other words, you cannot apply for the same loan for more than one place, or apply for a regular small business loan and then apply for this loan. No double dipping. This is a special program, kind of a one-time offer from the government. Now let's talk about the government for a minute. I work for a state institution, teach at a university, and let me talk about government mindset. Most of you probably know this, but it is very contrary to a business owner mindset. Government mindset is, if we offer you money, you need to take it and spend all of it. We don't want you to send it back. And if you send some back, we won't necessarily reward you. In fact, if you don't spend all your budget, we will cut your budget next year. We're not going to pat you on the back and say you did a good job. We're just going to make less money available. So my advice in working with the government is, when they do offer you this, look at different ways that you can use it and go ahead and take full advantage of it. If down the road you don't use it, you can pay it back. If you decide you want to extend the payments of it, I believe the repayment is 4% interest, which is pretty low interest. I do not know the total time period. Somebody told me they thought it was 10 years, but those will be in the terms when you apply for the loan. I'm not sure that's exactly accurate.
Gary, it's up to 10 years, and it'll be determined when the loans originated and all that.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Awesome. So how do you calculate your maximum loan? It's 2.5 times your average monthly payroll cost. Now, the recommendation is you're looking at 2019, calculating your monthly payroll, your average monthly payroll, multiplying it times 2.5 times. If you were not in business in 2019, you just take January, February of this year, multiply it times 2.5 times. Now, what's included in your payroll cost? Any compensation for employees, wages, commissions, cash tips, vacation pay, family, medical pay, sick leave pay. If you dismiss somebody or gave them 2-week separation pay, any health care benefits, dental insurance premiums, any retirement benefits, and then any state or local tax that is assessed on the compensation. And some states, I know New Mexico is one of these, that actually taxes the full compensation. So any of these amounts that are considered part of your payroll, you get to count that, come up with your monthly average, multiply it times 2.5 times. And then what are the exclusions? If you have probably some managers that make more than 100,000, you need to prorate only a max of 100,000. You cannot count any money over the 100,000 in your payroll expense calculation. You cannot count any payroll or retirement, railroad retirement taxes, income taxes, can't count any of that. If they don't live in the U.S., they probably don't work for you, so I doubt that applies. And then anybody that is on the Family First Corona Response Act, they're already getting paid to stay at home or take care of a sick child. They don't qualify for this as long as they are getting paid on that program. Now, if you bring them back to work, then obviously they would qualify, and this program would no longer apply to them. Will it be forgiven? The original bill had some statements in it that it would count as a default. That was removed when it went to the House. And so this bill is going to be forgiven. And to my understanding, there's not going to be any negative impact on a business credit report. And again, we need to look at the fine language when you actually get approved for the loan. And we'll talk about that next. So you are eligible for loan forgiveness equal to the amount that you spend during an 8-week period starting on the date of your loan origination. So the date that you sign and accept the money, you've got 8 weeks to spend the money on payroll cost, interest on your mortgage if you own your building, the full rent payment if you're leasing your building, even if you're leasing it from yourself, utility payments, and then again, employees who get tips, additional wages, spiffs, commissions, those kind of things. So the point is this: put people back to work, get them off unemployment, and the government's going to give you 8 weeks of funding to help you accomplish that. Your loan will be reduced, your forgiveness will be reduced if you do not pay your employees at least 75% of what they were getting paid before. Let me say that again. They have to get paid 75% or up to the full amount they were paid before. Also, if you have fewer employees when you come back. So they're going to take your payroll cost, multiply it times the number of employees that you're paying in the 8-week period, and then they're going to divide it by the FTEs from last year. So as long as you have as many or more people you're paying than last year's average, your full loan can be forgiven. Now, last thing I want to say, if you've got people that you've already laid off or furloughed, the last paragraph is basically saying, bring them back, put them back to work. If you bring them back to work and eliminate the reduction in wages, then the government wants to reward you by forgiving this loan. Guys, I'm going to let you ask some questions if you have questions about this, but let me say this one thing. You want to go ahead and start applying for the SBA Paycheck Forgiveness Loan today, because you're going to end up in a queue, on a wait list. And whether it's a local bank, US Bank, Bank of America, whoever you contact, they're going to put you in a queue. And as soon as they get the fine details from the government, they're going to start calling and doing these loans. They have been mandated to expedite these as quickly as possible. So their goal is to get this money out into the economy. But this is what your employees need to understand. And I'm saying this to you, not your employees. If people stay at home and they stay on unemployment and we don't get money back into circulation, the fear of the government is this recession may become a depression, which those last 5 to 10 years. Guys, we want our people back at work. We want them taking care of our communities, and we want them to be paid their full amount so they can pay their bills and we get money back in circulation. The point is not reward people to stay home, hide, or be lazy. We got to get back in our routine. So with that, let me open up the questions, and Todd, I'll turn it back to you, and Chris, anybody that wants to answer the questions.
So guys, submit your questions. I've got one from Joe, and I'm going to start with Joe's, and I'm going to reinforce what Kerry said. He said, how long do we have to apply for the loan? That was Joe's question. Thank you, Joe. How long do we have to apply for the loan? So let me make this abundantly clear. I spoke with my small business advisor at Bank of America yesterday. We've got a great relationship we have for a long time. And he said the banks don't even have all the details yet, but the banks know what they're going to be looking for, which is what I'm going to share with you right now. Kerry shared it with you. I'm going to pull up that email. I'm happy to show you guys that email, because you can start assembling the information that you need right now, and you should. And who you apply with, in case you guys are curious, hopefully is the bank that you have a relationship with. You call them and say, has your bank been approved for the SBA Paycheck Protection Program? That's the question. Have they been approved for the SBA Paycheck Protection Program? And when they come back and say yes, then that's who you apply with. If they say no, well, then you know what, you go to another bank. But here's the thing that I want to stress. All right. I'm going to find that email that I sent to Shannon right now.
Hey Todd, while you're pulling that up, let me
and I got
support what you're saying. And that is, the amount of time is this till all the money's gone.
Yeah, there's $350 billion.
It will be spent faster than you can imagine.
Yes. So check this out. This is from Nathan telling me what I need to do to get ready. There's $350 billion in loan money available. That will go fast. You know my American planes, this is going to be like the land rush of Oklahoma. You need to get first in line, all right? This is the information you need to already have for your bank. Do this today. Shannon's doing it for us today. You do it for you today. Pull your 2019 payroll. Pull your 2019 list of employees. Look at this, 1099s for 2019 employees and independent contractors that would otherwise be an employee for your business do not include 1099s for services. You can ask your bank what that means, but the short version of it is we're going to pull the 1099 for Terry, who's one of our trainers. They might consider a service, but we're going to try to get him some coverage there as well because he does legitimately make money with us. Healthcare cost. All healthcare insurance premiums paid by the business under a group healthcare plan. Get your premiums in one category, get your other costs in another. Retirement, your company retirement plan funded for and paid for by the company. So we've got a 401 here. We're going to pull that. All of that is going to be the information they need. Get that information together, but do that second. First, send your officer an email and give them a phone call. I did both of these things yesterday. And I said, hey, Nathan, we as a company plan on laying no one off. We are healthy. You know our business. You've been with me from the start. You know how much money we've got in reserves. But if I can lessen the reduction in my guys' pay because of potentially lost clients, I want to do that. He wrote me back, said, we're on it. You are actually the first company to reach out for me. You're number one in line. You want to be as close to number one as you can get. That's why when you hang up here, you call your officer. You say, this is critically important to me. I want you to put me as close to the list as you possibly can. And even feel free to ask the question, how many people are ahead of me right now? And if you're sitting 1,000 deep, get on that list, but see if you can find another bank to get you closer to the front. All right? You want to be as close to the front as you can. You want to get your information to them now. You want to have your emails prepared now, because let me tell you, being number one on the list is number one on the list, but you'll go to number 5 if you don't get them the information they need. Send it to them now. Say, hey, thanks for letting me be number one. I'm going to send you all my stuff now. Here it is. Shannon's got to assemble this for us today. And I can guarantee you, if Nathan has everything he needs from us for the application short of a signature, we're going to go to the top of the list if someone's ahead of us. You with me? All right. I know I get passionate about these things. I want to make sure all of you guys protect your people. $350 billion will get land grabbed in a hurry. You need to get on there. All right, we got some questions. Let me go to the questions, all right? Amy, where do we apply? With your bank, Amy, that you have a relationship with. If you don't, find one. There's also Live Oak Bank. Live Oak Bank provides a lot of service to our type of contractors. My statement to that is, the only issue with that is I don't know how loaded they're going to be, because Service Roundtable told everyone to use them, and a lot of people will, and they're a good option. I don't know if they're going to be abundantly overwhelmed by service contractors. I would start with my bank I got a good relationship with that's approved for this. Ricky,
so Todd, one more thing on that is, if you guys want more details about the program and to kind of keep up with what's happening with it, like the SBA, go to the SBA.gov website. Put in your zip code. There's local service centers. You can call them and talk directly to them. They will set up free appointments for you to learn more about this stuff. I talked to ours here in Waco yesterday, and they said, we don't know when it's going to happen, but it's changing every day. And so that's why it's all the more important for you to do what Todd said and get on this. Now, it's supposed to happen Friday is when they're supposed to publish the guidelines and rules for this. And that's when banks can act on it. Mm-hmm. So don't wait. Again, just to reiterate that, but if you need more information or more help, SBA.gov and find your local service center there.
Yep. Yeah, and guys, this is basically like a profit shot in the arm. So for the next couple of months, if you've got your labor costs covered, just think what that does to help you hit your break even that much sooner. So again, you would just be really missing out as a business owner if you don't take advantage of this.
Yeah, we got some good questions, and I'm sure that I'm going to cover everybody's question, by the way, every single person. Ricky has the question: if we hire new employees, how will that be handled with payroll considerations? And he goes on to say we're anticipating some new hires next week. Carrie, from my understanding, new hires are not covered by this. It's pre-existing people on the team. But do you have a little bit more insight on that?
Yeah, it's based on what your FTEs were, your full-time equivalents, during either January, February of this year or during the previous fiscal year for your business. That's what it's based on. Now, if you can take the money, though, let's say one of those employees is left, you could take that amount you would have paid toward them and apply that toward your new employee.
We assume. We don't 100%.
Well, it's just a lump. It's just a lump amount you're getting. So how you break it up is up to you, but you must pay any employee that you pay at least 75% or more of their wages. So you could spread it out among more people. Just make sure you spend it and make sure you don't pay any person less than 75% of what their regular salary is.
Corey asked how many small businesses are available for this, and the answer is any small business under 500 million. His follow-up question meaning, what is the chance of this running out? Every bit of this money will be taken. Here's what I suspect will happen, though. This has not been the most on top of the program organized thing that we've seen in our life from our government. I suspect they're going to loan out far more than $350 billion before they have a chance to realize it, and that they're just going to extend those loans under the same principles. So my recommendation for all of you guys is just get all of your stuff together now. Talk to your loan officer now. Don't wait. And once more information is rolled out, as soon as it's rolled out Friday or whatever, I'm going to be going through the same exact process that you guys are going to be going through. We're all in the same boat together. We will have a follow-up webinar to talk about the applications, the pains, the sticking points, whatever it may be. All right. Jennifer Snyder says, it sounds like it will be forgiven in most cases, except with interest. Do we think of this as a gift from the government for keeping our employees? You probably hear my puppy. I'm at home working today, just like you guys are. You can choose to think of it in a lot of different ways, Jennifer. You know, I think that for the residential trades, what we are seeing is more like what Steve Egner's having to do with his plumbers. He's having to, not his plumbers, but his apprentices. He's having to furlough some of his apprentices because of the health concerns of cross-contamination. So for Steve, this would be a great way to get those apprentices paid. Now, here's the thing, right? This is kind of one of those anti-messages that we would normally not ever say. Normally, we would say, don't have the guys doing stuff in the shop. Kerry, this is actually his idea. But right now, the government just wants people making money. So if you need to remodel your shop, and I know you still have to be careful of separation. So I'm not telling you to get all your guys in one room. But what I'm saying is if you broke down the projects you need, do you need a technical training room? You got a guy that's got the skill set to assemble a few old air conditioners back there from your junkyard? The government wants people to have money in their pocket. That's the thing that we're trying to stress here. Put them to work on things that you're building if you need to. Keep them safely separated, but put them to work. So does the government look at this like a gift? I don't know. I think the government looks at it more like they don't want guys not having money because they know it's worse for the economy. Laura Lee, did you have a question? Yeah,
over here.
Ask it one more time, please.
I was wanting to know, we applied for the SBA through the SBA yesterday, and now that they're saying the banks, so I'm wondering, are the loans just going to go through the banks? Because when I called my bank, they don't know anything.
So let me answer that real quick because I've got another client that did the same thing, Laura Lee. Basically what happens is there are disaster loans available from the SBA most of the time. And that's probably what you applied for, or you went through an eligibility questionnaire with the SBA, because that's what they do. They don't loan the money.
Right.
If you call your bank, you are very likely to get, I have not heard of it yet. Because again, this was just announced. Kerry, when was it passed? The 23rd, I think?
Last Friday.
Yeah. So they probably don't know anything about it.
Right.
So yes, you're going to need to work through your bank. What you did with the SBA was probably go through a preliminary deal or something for that what does it carry? 701 something or another loan.
Yeah.
It's a type of that loan, but this is a separate thing. Okay. So just so everybody knows, anytime you're getting an SBA loan, you don't get it from the SBA. That entire process happens through your bank. So Laura Lee, whoever your banker is, find out. If they don't know, tell them they need to find out, and then find one that does. And once this is all over, probably do business with the bank that's on the ball.
Yeah.
Right.
One of my clients this morning,
And yesterday, and they don't know anything.
yeah, Chris, this morning, one of my clients, we just typed in his city name and then typed in Paycheck Protection Program banks, and it listed the banks that have already qualified. So he knew in 1 minute who he's going to contact. So
Great. I'm going to give you guys an assignment. There's 27 people on here, plus some people from our team. I'm going to give you an assignment. Your assignment is to get that information that I showed you earlier. By the way, Shannon, copy those 4 or 5 points, please, and paste them in the chat if you would. I know you got them. Your assignment is to get that submitted to your assignment number 1 is to find a bank. Assignment number 2, go ahead and submit all your application material and say, I want to be at the front of your list. Assignment number 3, honestly, I would call them, make sure they verify they got your email. Because I can tell you, I called Nathan. He goes, man, I didn't get your email. Because I sent it to the reply email, not his personal one. Verify through a phone call. Don't assume that they got it. By the way, Shannon just sent me the email. I sent all of our info, happy smiley face, and I sent her that late last night. So Shannon, good job protecting the company.
Todd, we cannot see the chat. The chat only goes to you.
I will. Corey hammered it out. Corey, I got it. All right, so check this out. Thank you, Corey. And he's given us. Hey, Corey, can I share the Live Oak Bank information here with guys too? Is that okay, buddy?
Yeah, it's fine. That's pretty open information to share, and it's got information on there that you haven't mentioned that they're probably going to be asking for.
Wonderful. So here I hit share with everybody. Shannon, take a look at that as well. That application, Corey, can you drop that application in through the chat for the file? Do you have it in like a file that you can share with everybody?
It's PDFs. So
I think you may still be able to drop it in the chat. If not, will you email it to me and I will put it up into the Mighty Network today. Thank you. Corey,
you'll notice a couple things they want, like 941 payroll forms, profit and loss sheets, balance sheets.
I think Live Oak's probably asking for more information than everybody's asking for, but it's good to have it. Though, it's good to have it. What I shared with you guys was what Nathan asked for specifically. But we also have a long-term relationship with those guys. So it may be they have that information. I don't know. The more information that needs to be assembled, fine. Assemble it, have it ready for them. If you're on QuickBooks, whatever you're using for your accounting, it should be just as simple as printing up the updated P&L. Hopefully that's done by the 10th of every month at everybody's company. So thank you so much for sharing that, Corey. Okay, guys, look, this is all moving fast. It's moving fast for all of us. Well, our promise is to you is that every moment of every update that it feels like we need to share information with you, we will. We'll share it here. We'll share it. We'll share it on the Mighty Network. I think everybody here is a client, so you have access to our community and our Mighty Network. We'll put it there. We'll do those things. Let's see if anyone else has any possible questions before we disconnect. And by the way, you can just unmute yourself or you can type it. I think everybody's got the ability to unmute themselves if anyone else has a question.
Todd, I just added another list of things from Jennifer Snyder.
Thank you.
Things that you may need or questions you may have. So
thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Carrie. Good stuff. All right. Any other questions? Keep in mind, I can't see you. You can type it or you can raise your hand. All right. You got your assignment. When you get it done, let us know that you've taken the first steps. I know that you have, Corey, so you've made that clear. Thank you, Corey, for doing that. This is exciting, guys. This is a really good thing. It's a good way to get your guys, you know, a little bit more motivated, a little bit more optimistic, a way to maybe have your apprentices that you've had to furlough, get them back to work for a couple months. Hopefully in 2 months, everything will be back to normal. Will it be?
Hey, Todd, Joe has a question.
I'm sorry, Joe, I didn't see it. Joe, can you unmute
I was
yourself?
going to say, you can go onto the SBA's website and download all the forms that you need for applying.
Great. You got a link to that?
SBA.gov.
Yeah. You know what? I'll just type in SBA.gov for everybody. It's probably pretty
It's going to be prominent on their website.
perfect. Awesome.
And
Okay.
and if you go there, Todd, you can get your free $10,000.
Might as well do that too while you're at it, right?
I got 40 yesterday, so I'm sitting all right.
Did you? You got 40,000 yesterday?
Yeah. AC company, plumbing company, I have a management company, and a holding company.
Shannon, get on that. As far as I know, we got a couple companies too. So, all right. Good.
Thank you guys for everything. I'm going to go find a bank.
Let me know if you need help, Laura Lee.
Will do. Thank you guys for everything. Have a good day.
Thanks, guys. All right, guys, if there are no other questions, thank you. We'll get this uploaded into the Mighty Network. We'll probably even put this one up on the website because this shouldn't be private information, but I wanted to make sure that all of you guys could get in here first. All right. Thanks, everyone. Y'all take care. We'll see you soon.